I didn't do anything with it. I just wanted to do the unboxing or sealing or whatever it is and see if I got scammed. Yeah, it's absolutely in steel, even for the adapter, or at least like the controller, is some of these things are still in good condition. However, we're also going to be doing an upgrading today. So let's do a little bit of that too. But first, let's do an unwrapping and let's see if this was actually a pretty good deal. Everything seems to be included. I have no idea why the seller was wrapping this up like this. So he, he gave us like a basic SCART cable. That is always like handy, but no idea why he did that. Let's see what's going on. We have all kinds of sorts of cables. So let's see what is in here. Okay, he wrapped up some random cables. I have no idea what's going on over here. So what kind of cables did he give me? Okay, so we're having over here a cheap fake N64 cable. Okay, they're like really horrible quality most of the time, but okay, we do have a cable. And we have this random cable. I'm guessing this is a video out or an old school. You would say that this is going to be something of a Sega version, but I think that that's going to be the case. Hey, USB cable. USB mini, that's something we don't use anymore, at least not a lot. And then of course the controller, that's going to be the first thing. Is this thing completely wore out? So let's check it out. Oh yeah, this thing does have some wear and tear. Oh man, why do people really do this? How you can mess up your cables, but okay. But let's see what's going on. So the controller quality seems to be fine. There are still all kinds of replacements of the N64. You have like very nice companies like Retro Fighters that make these cool overall, let's say, replacement controllers. Or AliExpress do have a couple of them, but at this point I didn't really get one of those that were like perfect one-on-one copy of the original one. So the joystick has a little bit of wiggle to it, so this thing has absolutely some wear and tear, but it's still playable when it comes to that. So as making of this video, so far I understand there was no replacement or cheap replacement, as this expansion pack is not like something you're going to be needing for every single game, but you're going to be needing it for a couple of games. And like Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong Country and many other ones. I think also Majora's Mask if you want to play that. So this is one of the things that's going to be an expensive thing to upgrade, but maybe in the future on AliExpress you can find a replacement that is maybe half the price. That would be very cool. So next up, let's see what I'm very glad with is the original. Is this an original power supply? Let's see. Oh yes, it is an original power supply. So what you need to take consideration getting an N64, sometimes these things are getting old and the power supply can actually fail. And also this one can be bought on AliExpress. You have these cheap ones, and I think there's even one that has actually like a 3D printed version with a 5-volt USB external power supply. So here's the N64, the condition. Yeah, what can we say? It does have like some scratches, but of course we're having over here the compartment. There was something in there. I had idea something was loose over here. Oh crap. And if you have no expansion pack, we do have a couple of them that will not run, but the point is we can actually play fairly easy. And I think that is going to be a super cool way to upgrade your N64. However, how about the connectivity? I already mentioned the cable that came with this thing was like a cheap freaking AliExpress one, and in my opinion you don't really want to use those. However, there is a solution. The solution is that we also have kind of an upscalers. So there are a lot of versions out there. This is not even the latest one, but you can see this thing is for N64, Super Famicom, SNES, and even the GameCube. Then we have a more expensive one. This is not something I really want to recommend because the two-time line doubler thingy is kind of weird, and I didn't have like an overall great experience because yeah, it's better, but not at the point thinking this is going to be worth double freaking the price. But yeah, in this way we can just fairly easy upgrade your N64. If you have one laying around, you pick one up for not a lot of money. You can just plug in a cartridge, put on this cable, and we can just put in a 4:3 aspect ratio and have 1080p simple upscaled signal. The connection inside of the console was kind of filthy, so there was absolutely one of those biggest problems for not booting up in the end. But as I'm messing around with it, it seems to be booting up. But let's do a little bit chit chat about the multicard and what can we actually do with this. So the display, this is the best you can actually get, or at least with this particular system. We do have RGB modded N64s, but that's just like another level and not making it budget anymore. Because yeah, if you're going to be buying N64 with RGB mod or HDMI solutions, oh boy, those are going to be becoming really expensive. So after booting up the N64, after some time I realized how bad the signal output is. However, if you're going to be looking into the list of these multi-cards, you can actually see the size of the files, and this way we can just see how long it actually will load up. So let's say we're going to be playing some Cruising the USA. This is going to be 8 megabyte, giving you an example, but the loading times of these cartridges are not like super long. And this way we can just fairly easy boot up the game. Yeah, you can actually also see that it is not like the perfect signal output with this adapter. It's quite unfortunate. I did notice the last time there was like a dongle now that you can just plug in, and that is also another option, but still. And we can just enjoy yourself some old school N64 in a very cheap way. These dongles are like really inexpensive. We don't need any emulation. So the reason I actually picked out this N64 I found, it was like kind of a bargain. I think if you're going to be looking into, let's say, the wild, you will find them. And if you just want to experience, you're going to be combining it with these two pieces of hardware. We have like such an overall fun experience. The controller is still functional. You can see everything works. But again, that's one of the things. I think two things you always need to check if you're going to be looking for an N64 used. First of all, is going to be if this game going to be having the expansion pack, and of course a good working controller. Well, the N64 was not like the best system out there, or at least that's my opinion when it comes to the era of the, let's say, the gaming of N64 and other system. Man, some games like GoldenEye are just legendary. The biggest file I think I've seen on here, we don't need an expansion pack, and you can see it boots up very quickly. Oh yeah. Oh, graphical wise. This is so bad. Okay, let's get used to the controls, particularly like the joystick. Such a memory muscle moment. I still remember how to actually play this game. The guy upstairs, right? There we go. Come downstairs, my friend. Oh, crap. And you can see I'm just really enjoying myself. This was one of those very strange games I noticed. We got some really cool funk soundtracks. Pop, 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 pop. You can even play this, of course, with freaking 4 players. I think that was still the very cool. Like, that was one of the things I loved about the N64. Like, so many games were playable with 4 player. But what you're going to be needing to do is actually just to bounce and see so fast as possible, get to the end of the stage. But let's see if I can still remember how this game was. Yeah, there is it. This game is it's like that. Whee! Second place. That's not bad. For a very long time. But let's move to the summer card. I wanted to do a dedicated video, but just wanted to do a quick overview of this. So it's kind of interesting having a European, Japan, and the US. Fun fact, this thing also has N64 DD. So that's even more cooler than all the previous cartridges. So this thing had a lot of cool features to it. But besides that, I think it's also very interesting to mention that it's going to be having actually the option to play all kinds of regions. So you can just grab yourself a European or an US, and just this way you can just fairly easy boot up a game. So I'm using a European version. So let's say we're going to be trying a US game, and we can just actually just boot a game fairly easy. So let's say we're having the Biofreaks, maybe not the best game out there, but let's say you're having edit settings, show system, and all the other stuff. And if you want to go back, you just start the game, press A. We're even having a very cool screenshot, and that's it, load. And the loading times are almost instant, but beside that, yeah, it's pretty cool. You can see it's going to be adjusting due of the different region. It says that I don't have a game pack for saving. But yeah, we can actually just play US, so region free is one of those extra cool perks that the summer card also utilize. the cheap kit from AliExpress, you can even get yourself the right tools to open up this bad boy. And that is what we're going to be doing, because I am really curious what is going on inside of this thing. Let's see, I'm going to be really needing to remove a lot of these freaking screws. Oh, I can tell you this thing has never been opened. Alright, and we're going to be cutting the video over here because it's going to be taking me some time to remove all of these things. All of the screws and also the feet are removed. Next thing I'm going to be doing is removing the expansion pack from this system, otherwise we cannot open it up. Okay, we're also going to be cleaning up. Is there something in here? And we can also replace a bracket if you want to, so we can actually also play original games. But what was that sound? Okay, there was a tiny key inside of the N64. Is that your key to your heart? If you wonder, no it isn't. I was actually just messing around with it to clean it up, and there is something else in this. Oh! But in the end, if you just want to play some N64 nowadays and you just want to go low budget upgrading, we have some really cool stuff you can buy now. For not a lot of money, if you're going to be picking up an N64, slap in a cartridge and an HDMI upscaler. And this cheap way we can actually play all the different games.